I'm so excited to tell my story to you all about something that has changed my life. It is about education. I would like to begin with, I still clearly remember, a long time ago, the day my father passed away. I had finished my secondary school at the time. On that day, I still remember, I was standing on a rice field, paddy field, our farms, small and only one we had in our village in southern part of Indonesia. I was heavily breathing at the time, and my hands covered in dirt. The sun was hot. It was normal days in my area in Indonesia during summertime, sometimes burning. And I was talking to myself, is this what my life is going to be? I was asking myself. Because after my mother's death, I take full responsibility to work for my family because I'm only one son. And I felt like my future was gone too after my father's death. I grew up in a small village in the southern part of Indonesia where most families are farmers, including my family, and life was not easy for us. In that environment, college, education, we felt like it was not for us. But several years after my father's death, I started to feel some things, grow inside me. And one day I asked myself, maybe this is not the end of my story. Maybe this is not the end of my life. And another questions come up at the time. I was asking, what is success in life? What is success? Maybe for some people, success means having a lot of money. Maybe. For some people, success means being popular, famous. Everybody knows you, everybody wants to shake your hand, take pictures with you, being popular. But for me, I have identified myself. I have defined success to me. Success means getting education and being an educator. That is what success means to me. So I realized that if I want to change my life, education is the only way to do it. But unfortunately, the problem was I had no money at the time, and nobody to support my study. So I started working harder than before because I felt, growing inside me still growing. I started working harder just to save money, $1, $2 every day. And finally, I managed to register in one undergraduate study program in one university in my hometown, Indonesia at the time. And afterward, I worked during the day and studied during the night just to finish my undergraduate study. Because there is no such student's loan or insurance or such kind of things in our country. So I struggled a lot financially. It was a long, exhausting process. And finally, I managed to finish my undergraduate study. I was awarded as one of high-achieving students at the time. And that graduation alone was a miracle for most people in my village. But I still had that desire to continue my study to the higher degree. And during my undergraduate study, I learned about the opportunity to get sponsorship. I had that desire to continue my study to the higher degree, and I started searching, looking for the opportunity to get a scholarship. I prepared myself, I studied, I prepared all the documents, the language requirement. I taught myself English, 1 word, 2 words every day. And it was a long process, exhausting process. And I submitted my first application You know the answer? Rejection. I applied again, rejection again. I applied again, rejection again. 1 rejection, 2 rejections, 3 rejections, many rejections. But I kept going. I applied again. The next year I applied again. And again, after a long process, I got the opportunity to study in one of the universities in Australia for my master's degree. I studied there for 2 years, around 2 years, and I came back to Indonesia, and I got another opportunity to study in Singapore. And then, the next opportunity I got from Malaysian University, I studied there. Afterwards, I returned home, I came back to Indonesia, and I became a university lecturer. And I stood in front of my students, some of my students from the same background as mine, from this disadvantaged group of people. And I talk to them, I remind them, if I can, yes you can. And now, I continue my academic journey as a PhD student in College of Education, University of South Florida, my dream university. And I have realized for sure that where you are from doesn't decide what you will do. This is my belief, this is my principle. Your background is not your limit. And some people sometimes ask me, there's the last thing that I would like to share with you. What helped you the most? What helped you the most that make you keep going until this point? In my personal experience, there are 3 things. First, I always try my best to be a positive person. I always try my best to keep that positive mindset inside me. In any hardship of life, no matter how hard our life is, it is like we are in a tunnel, a dark tunnel. You know? No matter how dark the tunnel is, there will be always light at the end of the tunnel. Brighter light, even brighter than the light behind us. So that mindset help me keep going. Second thing, this is very important, consistent action. When you have your mission, when you have your target to reach something, start doing the action, no matter how small it was. I still remember when I prepared myself to apply for a scholarship, I taught myself English because there was no teacher, there was no teaching media or whatever in a rural area in Indonesia. I memorized 2 words every day. At night, the next day I added 2 more words. The next day, 2 words. Until I understand, the whole concept of sentence in English. Small consistent action is very important, powerful. Even that strategy is still applied until today. When I want to publish an article, for example, I just write 1 sentence a day, or 2 sentences. At night, I add 2 more sentences. And the next day, I add 2 or 3 sentences. Okay? Until it becomes one full article. And until now, I have published 13 articles. Maybe it is not a big number, but for me, it is an achievement in it itself, for me. Because I always try my best to celebrate any little improvement that I have. Okay, and the last thing is very important. Try to surround yourself with positive people. I am very grateful I have a great mother. No matter how hard our life is, she always smiles at me. She always keeps smiling. And her smile is the biggest motivation in my life, my mother. And also one of my teachers once told me that your background is not your limit. So that short sentence changed the way I think myself even until today. So positive people is very important around us. And now, I want to be one of these people. I want to be a positive person for my students, for my community, who feel that their dream is too far away. I want to help people, my students, my community, through education. Because I believe that there is no more force. There is no force more powerful to make the world better than education. And also I believe the best way to get peace in my life, through happiness in my life, is by helping people through education. Thank you very much.